Hello everyone, it's George from Ireland. Well, they're at it again. Prince Harry and his good wife, Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, another court case. Because until now, the British royal family almost never go to law. And all right, I know that William and Kate did around about 2011 about those topless photos of Kate published in a French magazine. So William, Kate, I think they've only done it once. Harry and Meghan, they've done it several times. I'm losing count. So you may know that it's almost 2 years since Meghan and Harry bowed out from the British royal family, saying they wish to step back as senior members of the House of Windsor, and they're going to spend most of their time in Canada and California. But now Prince Harry would like to visit the United Kingdom intermittently. But because of this, he thinks he ought to get royal security. Because when he said, no, I'm not going to perform any of these royal duties, then he lost these royal protection officers. Because when he's in the United Kingdom or even abroad, they usually went with him. Now, they're usually ex-police officers, ex-military people, but they're trained to close protection. They wear civilian clothes, they've got firearms concealed, and they're experts in this kind of thing, allowing a VIP to do what he needs to do to glad hand people, to do these walkabouts and trying to prevent that person getting killed. And when's the last time ever the British royal family was killed? Well, that's 1979, Lord Mountbatten blown up, where he didn't have any protection officers when he's in the Republic of Ireland. And he was so far down the line of succession, and he was 79 years old. He thought he wouldn't be killed, even though he was warned, no, you're in danger. But he refused to take even the most elementary security precautions. So His Royal Highness would like to bring his children, Archie and Lilibet, back to the United Kingdom from time to time. Now, the UK government is saying, no, we won't provide royal protection officers. And Harry said, is it a matter of finances? I'll pay for it. And Her Majesty's government is still saying no. The thing is, as I'm sure these philosophers, Meghan and Harry, will be the first to tell you, actions have consequences. You chose to cut ties, so you don't get this. If you stay in California, you can have your own protection officers. Now, he could bring his own bodyguards. I don't know if they're authorised to carry firearms in the United Kingdom. But then the idea they wouldn't have intelligence about threats, and the specificity of these threats really matters, apparently. So yeah, he's willing to fork out for this, and it costs apparently tens of thousands of pounds a day, considering you need to have several of them, and they've got to be there 24 hours. But the Home Office saying they're not going to do this. That's this ministry is in charge of policing and prisons and so forth, passport issuance, saying it would set a dangerous precedent. Then all sorts of VIPs will say, well, I want royal protection officers, but even I'm willing to pay for them. So that's it. I mean, I do have some sympathy for Harry's position because, as I said, he was born into it. He didn't choose to be a member of the House of Windsor. Yes, but you did choose to largely leave it. And one of the repercussions of that is, no, you don't get this royal protection anymore. You could simply stay in California. There's no need for you to return to the United Kingdom ever again. This country that you profess to loathe, where you think you're so badly treated by most of the media and a lot of the public. Whereas Princess Meghan, she is a volunteer member of the House of Windsor. And that's it. So they can have some sort of security that they can provide. Or the other alternative is he could just shut up and fade into irrelevance and people forget who he is and he wouldn't be worth assassinating. But they're constantly sticking their head above the parapet, saying things and selling their image, getting this $100 million Netflix deal. Hey, I would get that sort of deal if I could. There we are. So that, hey, they might win their case and say, no, they have to have this. But I think they're trying to have their cake and eat it as usual. I mean, make your mind up. Do you want part of this royal family or not? Do you want privacy or not? Because if you do, it automatically follows that you should stop making media appearances. The idea that he wants to closely guard his privacy and he's going to be showing his mug on television all the time is a complete non sequitur. I mean, there's a credibility gap right there like that, the Grand Canyon. So he's always contradicting himself because I know he's got not much between the ears, a bit like his dimwit uncle, Prince Andrew. So he can stay safe behind his high domain walls in Montecito, California. So there's judicial review about these security procedures. There's sometimes leaks in the British press about where he's going to be and when he's going to be, which he thinks makes it a little bit dangerous for him. I mean, I'm not aware there's anyone is trying to assassinate any member of the royal family since the 1980s. You see how they respond. Prince Charles on a trip to Australia in the early 90s, he was on stage giving some speech, and this man stood up and drew a firearm and fired a number of blank shots at him. No injury was done, but you immediately see Prince Charles's security detail behind him stand up and go and pile on this man and disarm him. Although actually they would have been several seconds too late. Had it been a real gun, it was just a protest about something. I shouldn't say what, because they don't want to draw more attention to this chap, because it then incentivizes this sort of behaviour. So that's them being a bit bratish as usual. Anyway, they're just celebrities now, so I think they got to live that Californian lifestyle. Meghan hasn't weighed in for a little while. No doubt they're not very happy with what Prince Andrew's doing, but the whole thing is casting a pall over the Queen's Platinum Jubilee year. It's obviously 70 years since she inherited the crown. The 6th of February will see the Commonwealth reunited in solemn remembrance for the passing of her father. George VI, last King of Ireland, died upon this date, last Emperor of India. I remember 20 years ago going to a dinner which happened to mark the occasion, but it wasn't a sombre one, a sorrowful one for her. So the actual jubilations shall be held in June, when people will felicitate her, because it'll be the 7th anniversary. They just hold it in June for the good weather, and to separate it from the obit of her dear departed father, of a happy and a fond memory. So Prince Harry no doubt will come back for that bun fight, and probably all the coronavirus restrictions will go because they're being eased off. I don't know which ones of them are still in place. If you've got coronavirus, you have to stay at home for 5 days. Omicron seems to be rather trifling, and masks and public transport have gone and things like that. But Prince Harry and his bride, they've not edified us with their views anymore, but they were forever opining on all sorts of highly contentious subjects. I don't think Meghan Markle is going to throw her hat into the ring for the presidency, and people were musing about that one. But if she did become president of the United States, she'd certainly have Secret Service officers around her all the time. But I think that would really sink the Democratic Party. Not that I think that they would give her the nomination. So, there are easy solutions for Prince Harry. Now, is he unhappy in California? Rumours are leaking about that, that the marriage is going sour. Not too much that chatter. I think it's bunkum. It's too early to say. It reaches critical mass when it comes a little bit credible. Of course, there can be this sort of Chinese whispers effect where these things really get inflated when there's something trifling. Or one person says it, well, like Mark Twain says, a lie is halfway around the world before the truth has got its pants on. So just because it's oft repeated and widely believed doesn't necessarily make it true, but it's more likely to be true the more people who say it. You know, there's a triangulation thing. If it comes from 3 different angles, it has the ring of veracity to it. That's enough from me. So follow me on Instagram and so on, Facebook, Twitter I haven't done for ages. And thank you so much for your donations with the greatest possible liberality to me on PayPal, georgecallahan79@gmail.com. And remember, I do lessons in history, politics, religious studies, law, citizenship, French, English language, English literature, English as a foreign language, IELTS, and so forth. I'm a tour guide in Londinium, and thank you for contacting me. I shan't say who your name is and booking that tour we've got going for April. Goodbye.